Hello and welcome. Take a moment to relax. In this story, you will listen to simple English. You do not need to understand every word. Just listen and enjoy. David was a young man living alone in a small city in the United States. He was 30 years old and worked in an office building downtown. His job paid his bills, but it did not make him feel excited or proud. Most days, his life felt quiet and empty. Every morning, David woke up at 7 o'clock. The alarm rang, and he slowly opened his eyes. He reached for his phone and checked messages and social media. He stayed in bed for a few minutes, scrolling without interest. Then he got up, took a shower and got dressed. He made a cup of coffee in his small kitchen. He drank it while standing near the window, watching cars pass by on the street below. After that, he left his apartment and walked to the bus stop. He waited with other people who looked tired and silent. When the bus arrived, everyone got on without speaking. David sat near the window and looked outside. The city moved quickly around him, but inside, he felt slow and distant. At the office, David sat at his desk for many hours. He turned on his computer and started working. He answered emails. He filled out reports. He attended meetings that felt long and boring. People talked about deadlines and numbers. David listened, nodded, and took notes. But inside, he felt nothing. When the workday ended, David packed his bag and left the office. He took the bus home again. By the time he arrived, he felt tired, even though he had not done anything difficult. At home, he ate a simple dinner. Sometimes pasta. Sometimes a sandwich. He watched television or used his phone. Hours passed quickly. Late at night, David went to bed. He closed his eyes, but his mind stayed awake. He felt like every day was the same. He felt like time was passing, but his life was not moving forward. One night, he stared at the ceiling for a long time. He asked himself quiet questions. He wondered if life was supposed to feel like this. He wondered if something was wrong with him. That night, he slept badly. The next morning, David woke up feeling tired. But as he prepared for work, he felt a small desire to do something different. He did not know why. He just felt it. As he stood near the door, ready to leave, he stopped for a moment. He looked at the bus stop across the street. Then he looked down the road. Instead of waiting for the bus, David decided to walk. It was not a big decision. He did not think too much about it. He just started walking. The air was cool and fresh. The sky was clear. The morning felt calm. As David walked, he began to notice things. He noticed the sound of his footsteps. He noticed trees moving gently in the wind. He noticed sunlight touching the buildings. He felt something he had not felt in a long time. He felt present. After walking for a few minutes, he smelled something warm and sweet. He looked around and saw a small bakery on the corner. He had passed this street many times before, but he had never noticed the bakery. David stopped and looked at the window. Inside, he could see bread and pastries. He opened the door and went in. The bakery was quiet and warm. The smell of fresh bread filled the air. A woman behind the counter smiled at him. She said good morning in a friendly voice. David smiled back and ordered a coffee and a sandwich. While waiting, David looked around. People were sitting quietly. Some were reading. Some were talking softly. When his order was ready, the woman handed it to him and wished him a good day. David thanked her and stepped outside. As he continued walking, he noticed that his mood had changed. He felt lighter. He felt calmer. That morning at work, David felt different. He still did his job, but his mind felt clearer. The next day, David walked again. And the next day, he walked again. Walking became part of his morning. It gave him time to think. It gave him time to breathe. One morning, David walked through a small park. He saw an old man sitting on a bench. The man was reading a book. David greeted him politely. The old man smiled and greeted him back. The next morning they met again. Soon, greeting turned into conversation. They talked about simple things. They talked about the weather. They talked about books and memories. The old man spoke slowly and calmly. David enjoyed listening to him. One morning, the old man said something that stayed with David. He said that life often changes quietly. He said that small steps matter more than big dreams. David thought about those words many times. Weeks passed. David felt stronger inside. He felt more confident. He started reading books in the evenings. He started learning new skills. He still worked at the same job. He still lived in the same apartment. But he felt different. He felt awake. Sometimes, change does not arrive loudly. Sometimes it comes softly. Sometimes it begins with one small step. Thank you for listening. Take this story with you. Move forward slowly and keep believing in yourself.